Welcome to today's webinar and today's training. So we will be looking at introduction to food and beverage service. So good morning, everybody. My name is Pharmacist Innocent. I'll be taking us through this training, introduction to food and beverage services. I believe you all are seeing my screen. Okay. So so we look at the food and beverage service in general. We look at the key things in the food and beverage industry. So we'll be looking at the introduction, we'll be looking at the origin of the food and beverage services. From there, we'll be proceeding to the classification of catering establishment. We'll look at the categories of catering services. You have the primary and the secondary catering service. We'll be looking at the food and beverage service outlets and their layout. What's their layout all about? We'll be looking at the hierarchy of food and beverage services, duty and responsibility of various employees in the F&B. So I'll use F&B to because of time, F&B service, attributes, the attitude and the etiquette of F&B personnel. So we'll be looking at their physical attributes, the work-related attributes, their attitude of food and beverage staff in general, the etiquette of food and beverage services, and coordination. Okay, so at the end of our training, we'll take question and answers today, and you will get your assignment before the next class. So what is our objective today? The objective generally for this discussion and this course is that after studying this unit, you'll be able to understand the origin and the growth of the F&B service. You'll be able to understand the classification of it, the outlet and their layout, so that when you see it, you can easily relate with it. And as a professional training in this industry also, you can make input and positive contribution to the industrial advancement, the duties and responsibility of various employees of food and beverage services. So those are the things you need to know. So let's look at the origin and the growth of the food and beverage services. So when did it start and how is it performing? So the hotel industry generally originated in the 6th century BC, that's before Christ, and is known as one of the oldest human endeavors. Okay, there were inns. Those days there were inns, and the way the inns were structured those days is a large hall, a very large hall. So when you are traveling, probably you are traveling from Lagos to Osun State, and they are going with horse. You remember those days they were going with animals. So when you get to the middle of the road and you get tired, then you see this big hall where other people that are traveling like you, each person will just lie down in a corner and make some payment. So that is the origin. Then with the invention of the wheel, we know with time there was an invention of the wheel. One of the greatest events in the history of civilization resulted in production of quicker modes of conveyance. So people were traveling faster for businesses, going from one country to the another. And the impact of that also caused an evolution in the hotel industry. Also, we noticed that religious societies, people were migrating, missionaries, traders, soldiers traveling became common. The nobles travel on horseback and carriages. So with all these events, there was need to have a better system of hospitality. Just imagine you are a royalty and you sleeping in that big hall with peasants and people that didn't have their bed well and other categories of people with a low social esteem. So it's going to negatively impact on your personality. So that led to improvement, on better inn. So a hotel is defined as a place where a bona fide traveler can receive food and shelter, provided is in position to pay for it and is in a fit condition to be received. Okay, so that's hotel. Now, the little hotel started in Europe. We know a lot of these evolution of things. They started around the Europe. It started in France and Switzerland. So you have small cottage-like chalet, you know, overhanging in roof, found in Switzerland mountains and in small hotels. So that's how it started. They started providing services to the aristocrats. Aristocrats are those big boys of the day. So with that, the food and beverage industry also started to take root. And the inns, you know, evolution, civilization, advanced civilization we have now, they all started in Britain. With time, they migrated to America. So American inn also took the pattern of the British inn, because most of the people that started the American Revolution, they are all from the British Empire. So what's the classification of catering service? We first of all define what the catering service is. Catering is the provision of food supply and services for specific function on particular date and at given location. You know, you have a program, you have a schedule, you know, the provision of those services at a given location. The catering industry is a massive industry, okay? It encompasses those places and institutions and companies that provide meals eaten away from home. So we are talking of, you know, meals eaten away from home. So it goes from the little wayside tea shop, the tea shop by the side, to the exclusive fine restaurants and deluxe hotels, the 5-star hotels, the 7-star hotel, to midday meals for school children, and also for industrial services, and even the army. So this is the categorization or how the catering industry is splitted. So in the catering industry, we have the primary catering, we have the secondary catering. Under the primary catering, we have the hotels, the restaurants, and we have the outdoors. Now, under the restaurants, we have the bar and the pubs. We have the popular restaurants or our regular restaurant as we know it. We now have fast food restaurants, and there are also takeaways. Now, under the second catering, we have the departmental store catering, we have the club catering, the welfare catering, the transport catering, the leisure link catering. So now, under the welfare catering, we also break it down further. We have hospitals and industries or institutions. We have that of the armed forces. We have schools, we have university and colleges, we have prison. Then under the transport catering, we have the airline catering, the railway catering, the ship catering, and the surface catering. So the catering industry is splitted into two broad categories, as we mentioned earlier. Then after the two broad categories, we have further breakdown in the catering industry. So right now we're going to look at what is catering management. Catering management is simply defined as the task of planning. I mean, we are planning, organizing, controlling, and executing catering services. Okay, so now you want to have a program, you want to have an event, they need to plan how many people are attending, what is the category of people attending, what is the budget, what are the tribes of the people attending, what are the kind of food they eat, what are the kind of beverages they take, what are the kind of drinks they take. So planning, then you organize, then you control, and you execute. So each of these activities influences the preparation and the delivery of food and beverages at a competitive yet profitable price. Now, you know that if you have a catering service, for people to actually patronize your services, it has to be what? Competitive. Your price has to be friendly. But again, you are in business, you need to be profitable. So all these activities, they work together to meet and exceed customer expectation of value for his money. Because you see, every customer needs to have value for his money. There are places that I naturally want to go and eat again. Okay, there are places I had before, but they are not exciting. But there are other places I ate and I want to go there and I want to go there and eat again. Okay. For example, any day I go to South Africa, I travel there a lot. Any day I go to South Africa, I want to go and eat the lamb chops. The lamb chops in Johannesburg. Any day I go to Ghana, I travel to Ghana a lot. Any day I go to Ghana, I want to go to La Palms. La Palms is in Accra, and I eat tilapia and chips. Why? That's not the only place I've eaten those things, but these are the place that keeps a fantastic memory. They make me to want to go back again. Any day I go to Port Harcourt, I want to go and eat at Charcoal and Spires. And any day I go to Abuja, I want to go and eat at Mkoyo. If I'm in Lagos, Mega Chicken, 7th floor, their Chinese restaurant, or Z Garden. I want to have value for my money. If I spend my money on eating or on hotel services, I should be able to feel good about it. So these services we are talking about in catering in Nigeria has developed. We know that catering and hospitality has developed as a distinct segment of food service sector, and it has a broad spectrum of commercial operation. We have, first class, high class catering services in Nigeria. Now they include three primary types. You have the banquet hall, you have the off premises, and you have the mobile unit. Banquet hall catering is termed functional catering. It comprises of independent units and those attached to hotels, conventions, or conference centers and restaurants. So if you look at hotels, you have banquet hall. If you go to hotels, go to Eco Hotel, go to Eco, any other good hotel, you find out that you have banquet hall and all those things attached to it. So right now we are going to look at, we mentioned earlier on that catering services is classified into two. There's a primary catering service and there is the secondary catering service. So right now we are going to look at the primary catering services. So the primary catering service, they are established services such as the hotel, the restaurant, and the fast food outlet. Now, their main concern is to provide food and beverages. Okay, it's one of the key things why they were set up. And that's why they are called primary catering establishment. So let's look at example. We have the hotels. We know that the main purpose of the hotel is to provide accommodation. When people are transiting from one place to the other, at the end of their business or leisure transactions, they need to rest. Okay, so the hotel provides accommodation. And beyond the accommodation, they include services of food and beverages. After staying in a hotel, you need to eat. So a hotel may be small family-owned unit, it may be with limited small services, or it can be very large, providing services for a number of outlets. So in some hotels, you just have a little restaurant. Some 1-star, 2-star, 3-star hotel, but some in big hotels, you have different services. You have coffee shop. Coffee shop is where you have things like snacks and coffee, beverages. You go in and just take what you want. They also have room services. So you can be in your hotel room and call them and say, okay, can you please bring this service to me? Okay, they will ask you what do you want. You tell them what you want. Then also, hotel services can go beyond that. You can have banquets. Banquet means you can go there and serve yourself. There are also specialized restaurants, specialty restaurants that are for maybe Chinese restaurant or Indian restaurant or Ghanaian restaurant or Nigerian restaurants. Those are specialty restaurants. You can also have green rooms or cocktail bars. So these are some of the things that you see in hotel. Then restaurant, the primary function of a commercial restaurant is to provide food and beverages. An average and a restaurant don't have facilities for lodging, for accommodation. No, it's mainly to provide food and beverages. So there are different standards and different categories of a restaurant, and depending on the level of service they are providing. Okay, So also in some hotels, big hotels, you still have restaurants. They offer a wide choice for an elaborate menu, and they are very high quality service. Then we have what we call bar and pubs. Remember, we are looking at the primary category, primary catering services establishment. We have bar and pubs. The bar is mainly alcoholic beverages to residential and non-residential guests in the hotel. So in a hotel, you can have a bar, but you can also have a bar alone that is not in a hotel. Okay. Now, pubs is not common in Nigeria. It's fairly new. Um, Mainly pubs is more common in the UK, in the US. Okay, but in Nigeria, it's not common. So the difference between a pub and bar is that a pub is more of a localized area where people drink, localized, have a local feel, and they serve food. They have the kind of music you have in pubs is a little bit different from the kind of music you have in bar. In bar, you have noisy music, rocks, and those things, but in pub, you have more of this soul music. And in pubs, you have, I'm trying to give you a little bit difference between a pub and a bar. In bars, you have more of these young people, growing people, but in pubs, they're more of matured elderly. So pub is more matured, more localized, more specialized, and the music there is more of soul music. Restaurant. Now, in restaurant, we have what we call a popular or a regular restaurant. The major objective of it is to provide quick and economical meal in a clean and standardized dining room. So they are mainly used in urban areas in Lagos, in Ogun, in Osun, in Abuja. You have different restaurants opened by different individuals with different names. They have various styles and categories. And some restaurants serve continental dishes alone. There are some other restaurants that serve mainly Nigerian dishes, but in some other places, there is a mixture of both continental and the Nigerian dishes. Okay, so you can have what you call Calabar kitchens. When you go there, you see more of Calabar restaurant. You can also have Yoruba Amala joint, Yoruba Igbo joint. So some restaurants serve food from one region. Some other restaurants serve food from different regions. Some restaurants are more of continental dishes. Some other restaurants are more of Chinese and also Indian food and co. Now, there is also pizza. Pizza parlors. Pizza is more of a westernized food, but it's becoming a little bit common in Nigeria. You have Domino pizza, you have other drive-in pizza. So pizza is coming up. In the last decade, people are becoming more urbanized, people are becoming more funkionized. So you're having more of pizza, Domino pizza. There are other pizzas that you have here and there. So you also have fast food restaurants and takeaway. This is becoming popular. Things like tasty fried chicken. Okay, tasty fried chicken is local fast food, but things like KFC, and those are the fast food. You just drive in. You can even drive into a place and you are inside your car. You tell them what you need and they give you what you need. But these kind of places, the investment is rather high. Okay, and the equipment are expensive. Fast, those are very expensive. Okay, they also have a takeaway section in this fast food. So we talk about outdoor and off-premises catering. Okay, this is talking about when you have O1B, you have programs. So you have off-premises catering. They will do food for you and bring in fine place and fine pots, and create a good ambience. People are served or people take food themselves. So the science is the business of measuring money, manpower, and material. Because one thing with outdoors, you must have the manpower, you must have the capacity. Just imagine you want to serve a crowd of 1,000. You must have the logistics, the manpower, and the capacity. So it's an art, it's a science. You must learn all those things to be able to effectively do that. So secondary catering establishment. In secondary catering establishment, we have provision of food and services like in a welfare catering or transport catering. So this is not like hotel, it's like a catering establishment that there's a group of people that you need to attend to. Okay, so we have different types of them. We have departmental store catering. Departmental store catering like departmental store, big store like um, ShopRite. There can be catering services, there. So in departmental store catering, apart from carrying on their primary activity of retailing their own wares, they provide catering services as part of additional facility. Like I mentioned, ShopRite. Okay, apart from providing their own ware, they are selling one or two things that is their own. They also provide additional catering services for those that would really want to eat when they come to ShopRite. Now, this is unconventional. It's inconvenient and time consuming for customers to take a break from their regular shopping to go to another place. So you find out that in ShopRite and in Spa and other places, you have those services. Now we have club catering. Now club catering started with in the English place where people are prestigious people. They have their turf club, they have their golf club, their cricket club, and other clubs. So during those times, as people were socializing, they had need for them to eat in those clubs. Okay, so club catering is more of a big boy catering services. Okay, that are provided for clubs, cycling clubs, swimming club, both for indoor and outdoors. So that's club catering. It's part of secondary. Then we have welfare catering. This is a provision of food and beverages to people to fulfill their social need. Okay, so what we mean by this is this: you have a people in a group of in an environment. Okay, something like a social category of people in an institution or industry or hospital. Okay, these are several catering services specially for them. So in hospital you have catering services in hospital. Okay, and it has improved over the year, because now when patients are in the hospital, they need to eat, and sometimes they need to eat special diet. Okay, so the special diet is provided for them. Okay, let's say a diabetic patient in a hospital, the diabetic patient may need to have a special type of diet, or a hypertensive patient. So a hospital diet catering is evolving to specialized catering to meet the need of their hospital. Even sometimes some hospital have for staffs in the hospital. Some also hospital have for the people that are looking after the patients in the hospital. So there is industrial or institutional catering. This provision of food and beverages to people at work and in industry and co. Hello, administrator. I think we may need to take question at this point. Hello, admin. Okay, so at this point, we may need to take question. So we've given the general overview of catering services. We've given the history. We've given the classifications. So we will need to take a question at this point. Hello, admin. Can you unmute the students? Admin, can you unmute the students? Hello, admin, can you unmute the students? Okay, students, let's continue before admin unmute you. So we've talked about club catering. So there's also welfare catering. Welfare catering is provision of food and beverages to people to fulfill their social need. Okay. So we have welfare catering. You have hospital also. You can have welfare catering in the hospital. You have industry or institutionalized. So when you have companies, if you work in some companies, there are meals provided, catering services provided for the staffs in those companies. So in armed forces, let's say in the army, both in the army, maybe during war or even during their training or in the armed forces facilities and some government department, you also have catering services made available for people. A considerable number of functions are also held by the arm, leading to both small and large-scale banqueting arrangements. So there are times also the armed forces people, they have programs, functions. So with those functions, there is need to have banquet services. Also schools. In schools, schools and dormitories, you have specialized catering services for meals, for students, for staff. Okay, so most schools used to operate their dining rooms, okay, on a family type service or a self-service base. So you can serve yourself, or it can be in people can serve you. Okay, now nutrition value. When we come to school, nutrition value is important for catering in school, because if the food is not well nutritious, is not giving the necessary nutrition value, there may be outbreaks, there may be deficiencies that will not be helpful to the students involved. Also in university and colleges, they also have the catering services in university and colleges. So as an institution, a higher institution, and further education, you can have catering services for academics, you can have for administrative technical staff, even sometimes for full-time students or even for part-time students. I mean, during my university days, during my master's days, all those things are needed. Okay. Sometimes the university can have it as their own. Sometimes they can include other organizations to do the catering for them. Also in prisoners are also to be catered for in prisons. Okay. Because the truth is, if somebody doesn't eat, the person will die. So the catering within the prison is the responsibility of the jailer. Okay, the person that jailed them, the institution that jailed them, they are responsible for the catering services. But a lot of time they delegate it to a catering officer. Okay, but the truth is that in prison, the real people that do the cooking are prisoners. So they are given schedules. You are cooking, these people, you are cooking this day, tomorrow you are cooking. So for an example, like in Kirikiri, Kirikiri Lagos has over 5,000 prisoners. Those prisoners, they are catered for 3 times daily in a systematic manner. Okay. Can we unmute the student admin? Admin, can you unmute the students? I need to take question at this point. Okay, so we look at catering service. Hello, hold on. Hello, who is the admin? I need to take question at this point. Take question. I've done over 40 minutes. The time is done. I need to take question. Okay, 10:22. Okay. Okay, but immediately it's time. Let me take question. Okay, good. Okay, so let's proceed. So transport catering includes transport catering. You know, in different transport services, there are also catering that are involved in different transport services. Okay, so include serving food in different sectors. So now, you know, as people commute from one place to the other, either by train, by car, by sea, or by private vehicle, they need to eat. In sometimes you have up to 200 people, 300 people, or 400 people. In short, some ship can take as much as 5,000 people. So in such a situation, you need to do catering service for that large crowd of people. Okay, so let's give an example in the airplane. When people are flying from one place to the other, you need to do catering service. So we have airline catering service. So we're going to break down the catering services for the transport catering. So in airline catering, okay, the attendants, there are people that are in the air, the flight attendants, and there is also a restaurant in the train, in the plane. So how is that restaurant? That restaurant, they already prepared food. Okay, so airline catering falls into two main categories. There are two main categories of airline catering. There's the terminal catering. The terminal catering is at the airport terminal. Okay, maybe the lounges, the cafeterias, and people need to feed as they are waiting for their plane or as they just landed. So that's terminal catering. There is in-transit or in-flight catering. Now, the in-flight catering with technology development is a field of... Hello?
Please, the students can unmute themselves now. They can ask questions.
Okay, so can we unmute ourselves and ask questions? Hello, students, can we unmute ourselves and ask questions? Hello, can we unmute ourselves and ask questions, students?
Yes, Mr. George. Good afternoon. Oh, good morning.
Okay. Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm a coordinator actually. I'm in the class.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. I don't know. I was
Okay.
trying to know if the chat can also help for the for asking questions. Because I tried chatting. I don't know if you've seen my chat.
Okay, no, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Admin, the chat
The
is
chat
also...
platform can also be useful for asking questions, if possible.
Yeah, the chat platform is important during the classes. In case you are not hearing well or whatsoever, I think you can also
Okay.
the person can put, yeah. Okay, but I'm
Okay.
yet to see your chat.
Okay. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
But the audio was clear and the video was clear. I think that's the primary
Yes.
thing.
Yes. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay. Okay. Do we
Yes.
have any question from any of the students before we round up? Okay. So in the absence of that, I'll just do a recap. We are introducing our course on food and hospitality. We've talked about the origin of the catering service, when it started, how it started, classification of it. We talked about the breaking down of it, and both primary and secondary, and the subset of each of them. And we went further to talk about catering management. We went further to talk about primary catering, where we specify each of them in the primary catering, what services and co do they offer? Why is a hotel different from a restaurant? Went further to talk about secondary catering services, and that is where we're currently in. So we are rounding up today at transport catering. So from our next class, we start from transport catering, which is also a part of secondary catering services. But before the next class, you will get your assignment where you work on. So thank you for attending today's class. Once again, my name is Innocent, Pharmacist Innocent. See you in the next class, and keep safe. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.